But
Can you
is
give me
that
three
all we
examples of Bay artists who are good examples of how they should be rapping up there?
do? The Boy, Larry June,
LaRussell?
I could even say Lil Bear.
Ooh, skip LaRussell.
Look, no, because I'm gonna tell you.
Heaven said.
No, I'm gonna tell you why I don't say LaRussell. Because when I think of people like LaRussell, myself, or Big Bro right here, I'm thinking of those three names as people that fit the identity of a Bay Area. When you see The Boy and you hear that rap, you know like, oh, this a Bay.
Hold on.
You don't necessarily just see me and think I'm from the Bay.
So LaRussell don't fit, is what you're saying? He don't fit a Bay Area?
I don't think people hear LaRussell. I don't think.
Damn!
We ain't slandering LaRussell at all, man.
Too late, brother. Hold on. He cooking.
No LaRussell slander.
He cooking
That's
already.
not what I'm saying.
They go that smile too.
LaRussell don't look like a Bay
I'm
nigga.
saying.
That's what Symba saying.
What I'm saying is, when it come to Bear, when it come to The Boy, when it come to Larry June, they have a sound and their presentation embodies everything the Bay Area represents. And it's a wide range of different topics and different type of songs.
LaRussell is, I'm from the Bay.
Yeah, and he does the little rapping hop y'all do, the little bouncing on the ground.
I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying
He
is,
didn't like that. He's like,
What's that dance called?
LaRussell is not.
No, that's not turfing.
You know what, though? I'm going to keep it real.
What's that little bounce
Shout
called?
out to my Fillmore in Frisco, because that's called the Get Low. LaRussell is
Get Low.
actually doing a Frisco dance, and it's real gangsters that'll get active behind that dance, bro.
Wait, you mean if the wrong do that dance, they tripping?
No.
Hey, what's my young boy? Shout young boy. He just dropped some yesterday.
Killing. Shout
out to Pun said the Buddy Hop.
We don't know what's called.
It's called.
When Symba spoke on LaRussell not being a full representation of the Bay Area, it didn't come off as hate. It came off as perspective. Because if you really understand the Bay, you know it's not just about where you're from. It's about how you move, how you sound, and what you represent when the spotlight is on you. The Bay Area has always had a very specific identity, from Mac Dre's influence on the hyphy movement, to Too Short's game and storytelling, to Messy Marv and Du Bois bringing that raw street energy. It's more than music, it's a lifestyle. It's a tone, a bounce, a certain edge that you can feel immediately. Now when it comes to LaRussell, nobody can take away his work ethic, his consistency, or what he's building independently. He's created his own lane, and the Bay supports him for that. But the real conversation is this. Does his sound reflect the traditional Bay Area DNA? Because his music leans more into a positive, feel-good, almost motivational vibe. And while there's nothing wrong with that, it doesn't necessarily align with the gritty, high-energy, or mob-influenced sound that historically defined the region. And that's where the disconnect comes in. It's not about saying he doesn't belong. It's about recognizing that the Bay has layers. There's the cultural foundation, and then there's evolution. LaRussell might represent a new direction for the Bay, but for a lot of people, he doesn't embody the full package that earlier artists brought to the table. At the same time, every region evolves. What didn't sound authentic at one point can eventually become the next wave. So the real question isn't whether LaRussell is valid, it's whether the Bay is expanding its definition of what representation looks like. The Bay Area isn't one sound, it's a spectrum. But when people think about representation, they're thinking about the artists who didn't just come from the Bay. They felt like the Bay in every bar, every beat, and every move. And right now, that's the gap people are pointing out.